The highest profile initiative on this year's ballot has been Question 2. A vote yes on Question 2 would allow for up to 12 approvals each year of either new charter schools or expanded enrollments in existing charter schools. Supporters say it gives parents the opportunity to choose the very best public schools for their children.
Right now there's a cap. It's an arbitrary cap on how many students can attend a charter school in any, district across the state. And it's limiting the options for families who are stuck in school districts where the schools are failing and have been for decades. So allowing charter schools to grow would provide more high quality options in places like Springfield, Holyoke, Boston, New Bedford, in our cities mostly, for families who need them most.
The Yes on 2 supporters, many of whom are from the financial sector, including multiple New York hedge fund managers, have recruited Governor Charlie Baker to promote the ballot question in TV spots.
Massachusetts has many great public schools, and we took it for granted that our kids would go to great public schools. But some kids aren't so lucky. Where they live, they don't go to a great school, and they have no choice. Imagine if your kids were trapped in a failing school. Public charter schools give parents a choice and are a pathway to success for these kids.
Question 2 opponents, however, worry that expanding charter schools will reduce funding for public schools. The No on 2 campaign, which is largely funded by public school teachers' unions, claims charters drained $400 million from existing public schools last year.
The outside corporate interests bankrolling Question 2 are trying to deceive you. Here's the truth. Every time a new charter school opens, it drains money from the existing public schools. That's $400 million just last year, according to the state's own data, which means real cuts to our kids.
Yeah, so our biggest concern is the rate that they're expanding with this ballot question. So it's very poorly worded, with 12 a year forever, basically. And because of that, there's no funding mechanism written into the question, and there's no way to fund the public schools if all the funding is going to charter schools.
Opponents also argue that the real solution is to fix what is broken in the public school system. The Yes on 2 forces, however, say expanded charters will increase state education aid in cities and towns across the board. BU's Dean of the School of Education, Hardin Coleman, says there could be room for compromise.
Let's pause. We can continue to create new charters within the current cap, and let's figure out an economic model that will allow us to support both the creation of more charters, if that's desirable, but without inhibiting the ability of the Boston Public Schools to perform their duty. So I'm much more, as a member of the school committee, I'm much more interested, and as an educator, rather than creating new charter schools, I'm much more interested in figuring out how can we take the things they've learned to be successful, and how can we replicate that in our traditional schools.
Polls show voters are evenly split on the issue, so perhaps a compromise is exactly the right solution to make sure all Massachusetts students succeed in the classroom. For Inside Boston, I'm Alexa Lamana.